Praise be to you. Hallelujah. So we're starting on this teaching from letter to love, the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. So many of us in the Israelite community, we're Torah heavy. We talk about Torah, Torah, Torah. But we also cannot miss the most important element, which we're going to dive into here in a few minutes. Deuteronomy chapter 1 to 8. I'll just start at verse 6. Yahweh our Elohim spake unto us in Horeb, saying, You have dwelt long enough in this mount. Behold, I have set the land before you. Go in and possess the land which Yahuwah swore unto your fathers, Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, to give unto them and to their seed after them. The reason why I bring this passage up, because we're looking at a period or a season of transition for Israel. Israel left out of Mizraim, out of the land of Egypt, and they camped out in the wilderness for a while. They're what some say should be an 11-day journey from Mizraim to the promised land Canaan. Took them 40 years, and many perished in the wilderness. So what we see is a progressive narrative here where they got comfortable on their journey in a certain place, and they had camped there, and the Most High had to tell Moshe to tell the people, you've dwelled in this place long enough, it's time for you to get up and move. What are we saying here? Sometimes on our walk, we can become so comfortable where we are that we sometimes neglect the destination where the Most High wants to get us, where He's trying to take us, because we become stagnant where we are. We go through the same routine, the same repetition, the same old, and after a while, it just becomes mundane and it becomes, monotonous. But the Most High wants us to grow. And throughout the process of our growth, there has to be progress. We cannot stay where we are and get to where the Most High wants us at the same time. That is a contradiction. That is a conundrum. That's a state of cognitive dissonance where you know where you need to be, but you're comfortable where you are. So you allow things like procrastination to stop you. We come up with all type of excuses to stay where we are, all type of reasons why we can't. So the Most High had to send Moshe to tell the people, so you've dwelled in this place long enough. You've been stuck where you are long enough. It's time for you to get up and go to possess the land that I swore unto your fathers. It's time for you to go after what I have promised you and your ancestors. Some of you, the Most High has given you dreams, visions, aspirations that we have kind of tabled. I'm guilty. Y'all pray for me. I need to work on the book. But we've kind of tabled it. And every time the thought comes to us about doing what the Most High has called and commissioned us to do, we come up with an excuse. Well, I don't have this. For me, it was, I'm not a typer. I'm not a fast typer. You ever seen some people, and man, they just hit that keyboard typing 60 words per second? Or 60 words per minute. Which one is that? I don't know. I'm not a typer. But sometimes you apply for a certain job, they want you to be able to type certain words within a certain period of time. So I use it as an excuse, a crutch. Well, I'm not a fast typer, I'm a pecker on the keyboard. I've gotten a lot better. Y'all pray for me. But now with technology, you just talk into your mic and it records everything you say. And it types it out for you. So you ain't got no excuse. I want to challenge some of you on this Zoom this yum. What excuses are you using to hinder you from walking in your promise? What excuses are you using to hinder you from being used by the Most High? Moshe stood before the Most High in front of the burning bush. And after the Most High have confirmed, say, you're the one that I want to use, So, well, but I'm not eloquent in speech. You don't think the Most High knew that you had a speech problem when He called you, when He gave you the assignment? He knows all of your deficiency. He knows all of your shortcomings. He knows all of your lacks. He knows all of your inadequacies. He knows everything about you, but He still chose you to do what He called you to do. And all you have to do is yield over and surrender. Just be the vessel that He will use. Moses came up with all kind of excuse. When I go to Pharaoh, when I go before them, Moses said, what is in your hand? So this old staff, use what you have in your hand. Mishpekah, this is the message to you. Use what the Most High has put in you. You may not think it's enough. You may not think it's adequate. It may not compare to what everybody else have. You comparing your education to other people talking about, well, I don't have a PhD, I don't have no diplomas, I don't have no masters, I don't have no bachelors. Most I don't care nothing about that. You have to tap into the greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. You have to tap into I can do all things through Messiah who strengthens me. The Most High don't care nothing about your education, how eloquent you sound and how articulate you can be. How masterful you can put together project plans and presentations, and how you can put together seminars and workshops. He wants to use what He has put in you. What has He put in you? Are you going to be like the man with the one talent who say it just ain't enough? I don't have what they have, Father. Abba Yahuwah, I can't do it like them. Do it the way the Most High has called you to do it. Because at the end of the day, it's Him who is getting the glory out of it. It's not about you. You want people to applaud you and pat you on the back and give you an award. It's the Most High who's going to get the glory. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in the Shamayim. It's a testimony to Him. Because when people come up and say, what? Way before I got a degree, people were asking me, how am I so articulate? It's the Most High. There are people who will be enamored by your gift, your calling, and your purpose, and they'll be wondering, how were you able to do it? Seeing that you did not matriculate from some of the most prestigious institutions of higher learning. That's where you can say, had it not been for the Most High, I would not be able to do this. It's all Him. It's all of Him and none of me. Mishpekah, don't get stuck where you are. It's time to get up and it's time to move. We serve an action-oriented Elohim. When He speaks, things happen. We have the power within us to do the same. Praise be to Yah. So let's look at the heart of the matter. So this is an anthropological perspective of Israel's relationship with the Most High. So what is the heart? In our modern contemporary world today, it's the physical organ that's in the body. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Or it's an expression of love. So we have the heart emoji. So the Western definition of heart is an hollow muscular organ that pumps the blood through the circulatory system by rhythmic contraction and dilation. In vertebrates, there may be up to 4 chambers, as in humans, with 2 atria and 2 ventricles. Praise Yah. It can also mean courage. This person has heart. Oh man, they have the heart of a champion. Courage or enthusiasm, especially when maintained during a difficult situation. Merriam-Webster recognized heart as the heart icon, as a verb synonymous to love. I remember when I was a teen, I just had a flashback, y'all. I think I was about 10 or 11, and my grandmother asked her niece what a symbol meant. It was a gift from an admirer. And she said, "Oh, it's just a heart." And I bust out, "It means love. It means that he loved her." My grandmother's eye popped open because she didn't expect to hear that. But what I did, I bust the secret out. Because they were sneaking around, you know. Back then in Jamaica, don't call it dating, but they were talking to each other. They were quote unquote in love with each other. So I told my grandmother that the heart symbol is a symbol of love. It's not just a charm on a necklace. My auntie was mad with me, but that's what some people envision when it comes to what love is. I send you a heart emoji. Oh, I love this, or I love that. But from a Hebrew standpoint, there's a much deeper meaning. The Hebrew language is more pragmatic than it is theoretical. So the word leb means heart. And it wasn't a body part of the Israelites. Hebrews had a broader understanding of heart than we do in our modern context. They thought of the heart as the organ that gives physical life to the place where you think, feel emotions, and make choices. The heart is mostly figurative in the Hebrew construct and refers to what is the main control center of our being. The heart thus controls our actions, and our actions determine our habits, which in turn determine our character. So many of the references in the Tanakh, in the Proverbs, the writings, the Psalms, and the prophets, when they spoke about the heart, it's talking about the condition of one's character, one's behavior. The heart of the king was turned away from him. It's not talking about the physical organ in his body. It's talking about his attitude, his disposition, his character. The heart is regarded as the seat of emotions. We see this in Deuteronomy 6:5, Exodus 4:14, 1 Samuel 2:1. So there are merry hearts, fearful hearts, and hearts that tremble. The heart could be regarded as the seat of knowledge and wisdom, and as a synonym for or of the mind. You'll hear terms like, as a man thinketh in his heart, not in his mind, but in his what? In his heart, so is he. In the Hebraic construct, the mind was synonymous with the heart. In our day and time, we think more so on the mind. That is more Greek influence, with the Greek philosophers and them seeking to understand logic and life, reason and reality. Remember, I took a class in philosophy, and I'm like, what in the world, these Greek folks? Well, they have a whole different aspect of consciousness and reality. And they would philosophize different things. But from a Hebraic standpoint, the heart is synonymous with the mind. This meaning often occurs when heart appears with the verb to know. Deuteronomy 8:5, 29:4, 1 Kings 3:9, 4:29. We're going to look at these. Praise be to Yah. And get a little bit of insight. Praise Yah. So let's do Deuteronomy 6 and 5. Let's start with Devarim 6 and 5. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
And thou shalt love Yahuwah your Elohim with all thine heart and with all thy soul and with all thy might. So you shall love Yahuwah with all your heart. Here, leb or levav, the heart, the organ. But look what it says: bethink themselves, be conformed to courage, faith, midst mind, understanding. Right? Let's go over to Exodus chapter 4, verse 14. And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against Moses, and he said, is not Aaron the Levite thy brother? I know that he can speak well. And also, behold, he cometh forth to meet thee, and when he seeth thee, he will be glad in his heart. So again, joy, which for most of us is an emotion, but this is tied to leb. Let's go down to some of the other references. Praise be to you. Deuteronomy 8:5. Just going to hit a few of these. Thou also consider in thine heart that as a man chasteneth his son, so Yahuwah thy Elohim chasteneth thee. Thou shalt consider in thine heart. For us today, this would be in your mind. But it's talking about the heart because it is the seat of consciousness and it is synonymous with mindset, your mind, how you think and how you understand. It has to do with your awareness. It's not talking about the physical organ in your body that pumps blood. Let's go to 1 Kings 3 and 9. Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thy so great people? So again, give me understanding of heart. This has to do with your cognitive ability to reason, to think, your mental capacity to process information. So from a Hebraic standpoint, heart is more than just an organ in your body. Praise be to you. Let's move on. The heart may be the seat of conscience and moral character. This is why you have some people say you have an evil heart. Or it says, and he thought to do evil in his heart. How does one respond to the revelation of Yahuwah and of the world around him? What's your moral compass? Your moral compass. When the Most High said that he hardened Pharaoh's heart, it's not talking about the organ in his body. He didn't turn to stone. It's talking about his framework in terms of his response to the instructions of the Most High. We know now that the Most High's commandments are not grievous. But because our ancestors hardened their heart and stiffened their neck, my goodness. You think you think, and people look back and say, oh man, those Israelites, they were something else. Can you imagine? Look at Israelites now. You try to tell them Christmas is not biblical and New Year's is not biblical, you're going to run into some hard heart and some stiff neck. I don't know where y'all getting this stuff from. Y'all into this Hebrew Israelite cult stuff. No, we're sharing with you the Most High's plan for his people and for those who will join themselves to the people that is diametrically opposed to the world system, because the world system caters to the God of this world, the Elohim of this world, which is Hasatan. So how does your heart respond to truth? How does your heart respond to situations where you are required to use good judgment? In Jamaica, I'm from the country, y'all. Y'all gotta bear with me. If someone was angry with someone for an extensive period of time, and you can tell you're getting the cold shoulder, you're not getting the good morning like, you used to, you can tell that there's some tension. My grandmother used to say, "You have me up in your heart." And you confront someone and say, you have me up? And what does that mean? That's Jamaican lingo, country lingo. Do you have something in your heart against me? Is there animosity in your heart against me? What is in your heart? The problem is some of us justify what's in our heart because we feel as if it is the right response to the situation that we're dealing with. And sometimes we operate with a sense of self-righteousness. We operate with a sense of naivety because we fail to address the matters of our heart. David reached the point where he said that, you know what? I may justify some of my deeds. So he says, "Search me, O Yah, and see if there be any wicked ways in me." Because sometimes we justify our deeds. Mishpika, I'm going to throw this out at you. I came up with this philosophical reason a while back. I said the greatest lie one can tell is a lie they tell themselves. See, we're quick to get angry and frustrated and dismiss people who lie to us. But what about when we lie to ourselves? Can you see your true self? I love the way James put it when it comes to when it comes to denial or deception. Some people, they can be mad at you, but they kind of mask it off. And you say, "Is everything okay between us?" "Oh, yes, everything is fine. But I kind of feel a little bit of, I kind of feel some tension." Because some people, they go into they embrace this protective mechanism where, because they feel like you hurt them, they're going to guard themselves where you don't hurt them anymore. Now, here is the interesting part. Can you see your heart? How do you assess your heart? Dawood, in his heart, felt justified killing a man to cover up his adultery. To the point where the Most High had to send a prophet to go down to confront him, to show him what was in his heart. And he did it by a parable. The prophet went down, said a certain man had a guest coming into town, and this certain man had, a plethora of sheep. I'm just paraphrasing for y'all. And, he wanted to fix his guest some food, and he went over to the neighbor who had one little lamb and took the lamb, killed it, and made dining and, made a feast for his guests. What should be done to that man? Dawood said that man should be put to death. What kind of wickedness is that? Oh, so you can see the wickedness in others, but can you see the wickedness in yourself? Now the prophet says, "Thou art the man." See, Mishpeka, let's us keep it real. This is a real conversation we're having on this Shabbat. Sometimes we give ourselves a pass while we hold others to a standard of accountability to which we don't hold ourselves. We're quick to forgive ourselves when we make mistakes, when we mess up, and say, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry." But when the shoes is on the other foot, some of us hold grudges. That's what my grandmother meant when you have me up in your heart. You're holding a grudge. There is a commandment in Torah that we should not hold a grudge against our fellow brother or sister in our community. What's in your heart? Can you see what's in your heart? Are you in denial about the condition of your heart? The heart is the foundation of man's deeds. David walked in uprightness of heart, and Hezekiah with a perfect heart. What's in your heart? Your thoughts, your mind, your reasoning. Are you able to confront the reality of what's in your heart? I want to share this passage. This is in James. And again, I reference this a lot because sometimes I ask people, can you see the true you? Because sometimes the you that you think people see is not the you that they actually see. And sometimes we're just caught off guard when we're confronted with certain things. Mashiach said something in terms of a parable. He says, how are you going to try to take the splinter out of somebody else's eye when you have a whole log in your own eye? It's easy for us to see the fault in other people and neglect to see the fault within ourselves. This is where it's required for us to have honest conversations and ask the question, am I the problem? Woo! Y'all don't drop off this Zoom. We're talking. This is Yom Shabbat. We're having grown folks conversation. This is not the fluff. This is not the thrill of how we go through hermeneutics and homiletics and all that. This is real conversation. If your deeds are displayed before you, how will you respond? Are you in denial about your true self? Some people live in an illusional or a delusional state about their true character. Mishpaka, there's a saying, if everybody's saying it, it may be right. Not that all the time. But if you have more than one people pointing out the same issue, but you keep denying it and saying they're wrong and you're right, you probably need to take a step back and do a heart check. And if you're not able to do it yourself, you need Abba Yahuwah, who is your cardiologist. He knows your heart. He knows your thoughts are far off. The text tells us that the heart is desperately wicked above all. Who can know it? You can hide it from me, you can hide it from other folks, but you can't hide it from the cardiologist, Abba Yahuwah. You get that stethoscope or whatever they call that thing, and he said breathe in and breathe out, and he's checking the beat of your heart. Again, just going for some imagery here. Praise Yah. And you talk more, well, I just feel, it amazes me. People go to the doctor, I feel fine. I talk to people over the phone, sell insurance over the phone. And people tell me, oh, I'm healthy. I'm 100% healthy. I'm fit as a fiddle. Until we start going through the medical questions. In the past 10 years, have you been diagnosed with any cancer, lymphoma, blah, blah, blah? Well, yeah, 5 years ago I did. Are you diabetic or taking medication? Yeah, I'm on diabetes, but the doctor says it's not that bad. It's either you have it or you don't. But some people are in denial about the reality of the condition of their heart. Can you see your heart condition? Listen to what James 1:23 says. Can everyone see my screen?
Can.
Did I lose everybody?
Yes.
Y'all unclocked out on me? Praise Yah.
They are.
James 1:23. For if any man be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he's like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he beholdeth himself and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. So you look in the mirror, you see yourself, but as soon as you walk away, you forgot what you saw. You come before the Most High, He shows you what's in your heart. But as soon as you get out of prayer, you get out of praise and worship, you go back to everyday life and you forget about addressing the issues of your heart. I had a conversation with someone and I asked the questions. I said, well, looking at all the factors, what would you consider the common denominator here? Everybody say, people have addressed you on, I'm just going to use something generic. People have addressed you on how you wash the dishes, that you kind of rough. And, if you're not careful, the dishes will break because you can't just sling them from one side of the sink to the other. And then you justify, well, this is how I wash dishes. This is how I've always washed dishes. I understand, but, it has raised some concerns because a few times you realize that you've broken some of the dishes while throwing them from sink A to sink B. Well, you see, those dishes are weak. If they got stronger dishes, they wouldn't break. Do you see where I'm going? People rather deflect than take accountability. It's not how you're washing the dishes, it's the dishes' fault because they're too frail. People address you in how you talk to them and say, well, it's because you're too soft. You're too sensitive. We don't want to take accountability for how we're coming across. We don't want to accept the diagnosis of our heart. There are people who go to the doctor and the doctor say, you have this. And back in the Christian day, what we used to say, I'm not claiming this. I don't claim this. How many have heard that term before?
Con.
Yeah, the doctor say this, but I'm not claiming that, child. I'm not claiming that. So you have folks who don't take their medication, don't follow the direction, and they end up in the emergency room. And the question's asked, are you taking your meds? Well, I do sometimes, but I don't take it every day. Well, this is the reason why you're here. Failure to follow instructions because you are in denial about the reality of your current condition. We used to see folks who are diabetic and they're eating certain things and say, sister so-and-so, you sure you're supposed to be having this honey bun? Child, they say I shouldn't have it, but, you got to enjoy yourself sometimes. How many have heard that? You know it's a problem, but you rather skate around it than address it and acknowledge that you're wrong. Many of us like to justify ourselves. Mashiach gave another parable. It says 2 men went up to pray. One was beating on his chest, saying how righteous he was. The other one says, forgive a sinner just like me. And the question is asked, who do you think the Most High heard? It's the one who came in humility. All right, praise God. Let's move on here, Mishpika. We just have a few minutes left. The heart stands for the inner being of man, the man himself, the true you. What you have on is just what we call the flesh suit. And no matter how you look at it, you can dress it up, you can put makeup on it, you can modify it, and it can look good on the outside. That's just the flesh suit. The Most High cares about what's inside that suit. When Jesse thought that it was based on physical appearance and accolades, he brought out all his sons, and the prophet went down. Moses said, I don't want none of them. Why? Because while men were looking at the outward appearance, he's looking for a heart that is after him. Mishpaka, don't get enamored by people and their titles and their positions and their experience. Be enamored if someone has a heart that is upright before the Most High, just like Dawood. Dawood walked in uprightness of heart. King Hezekiah had a perfect heart. Focus on what's on the inside. We get caught up so much on what's on the outside that we forget that what's inside really matters most. You know, you have people who spend millions of dollars fixing up the outside, getting cosmetic surgery, getting Botox, getting facelifts, getting tummy tucks. I'm going to throw this on out there. Getting a Brazilian makeover. But neglect to address the inside, which is the most important part. Can I just drop this on y'all? All that fixing up folks doing is just going to go back to the dust. What don't rot away with the dust, it's just going to be silicone. The heart should be the central point of focus, because you can look good on the outside, but if your inside is not upright and perfect before the Most High, if your heart condition is not pleasing to Him, all that paint job means nothing. As such, it is the foundation. As such, it is the fountain of all He does. Proverbs 4:4. All His thoughts, desires, words, and actions flow from deep within Him. Let's look at Proverbs chapter number 4, verse 4. Then we're going to close with this part. Man cannot understand his own heart. You don't have the capacity, the intellect, or the intelligence. As a man goeth on his own way, his heart becomes harder and harder. But Yahuwah will circumcise, cut away the uncleanness of the heart of His people, so that they will love and obey Him with their whole being. So let's go over to, we're going to look at Proverbs 4:4. Let's switch back over here. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 4. Am I looking at the right one? Okay, yes. He taught me also and said unto me, let thine heart retain my words, keep my commandments, and live. So the word of Abiyahu is retained in the heart, in your mind. And once it's retained in the mind, then the outward demonstration would be your actions to keep Torah. Let me drop this on some of us in here. If someone says that they love Yah and their heart is upright before Yah and they're not keeping Torah, that there's a conflict there. There's a conflict there. And this is where the conversation becomes very challenging, because people rebuff the commandments. When Messiah clearly states, who they call Jesus, He says, if you love me, keep my commandments. Your behavior, your demonstration of how much you love me is not how much you sing on Sunday morning, not how much you sing in Shabbat, not how much you give in the offering, but how well or are you following my instructions? Are you obedient to what I'm saying? Let's go over to Jeremiah 17. Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9. Some of you already know what this means. What it says, the heart, yes, the leb, is deceitful, crooked, polluted, fraudulent. Do y'all see some of those words breaking down the Hebrew word for Akobe or Akob?
We can see.
Praise Yah. Not only is it deceitful, it's deceitful above all. Not only is it deceitful, but it's desperately wicked. Who can know it? You know who? The cardiologist. Let's find out. I, Yahuwah, search the heart. I am the cardiologist. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doing, because your actions are a reflection of what's in your heart. And with that, Mishpika, we yield until next week. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Where we'll pick back